Welcome to QuickBook Club. This is the deep dive, where we take a whole stack of sources, articles, research, maybe even your notes, and boil them down to the really important bits, the insights you need. We're basically here to give you that shortcut to being properly informed,
Oh,
with those surprising facts and aha moments that, well, make learning kind of fun. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the book Think Straight, Transform Your Life Through Your Thoughts. It's by Darius Foroux. And this book, it really challenges something fundamental, I think, a belief many of us have about our own minds. It suggests we actually have way more control over our thoughts and, well, therefore our lives than we usually imagine.
that's absolutely right. Yeah, the core idea is that by really transforming your thoughts, you can genuinely transform your whole life. And we're talking about everything, your career, relationships, just your general well-being. What's really interesting here, though, is it's not just like philosophical fluff. The book gets into the science behind it. So our mission today is basically to unpack how that works according to the book and, what it actually means for you.
Okay, let's kick things off right there then.
Mhm.
With that foundational concept, the, well, almost unbelievable power our thoughts have in controlling our lives. They don't just affect our mood or how we approach things. The book says they actually shape our decisions, our reality. How does that even work?
Well, the book explains it in two main ways. First, there's this thing called neuroplasticity. You know that old idea that your brain is kind of fixed once you're an adult? Forget that. Think straight. Really emphasizes that your brain is constantly like physically rewiring itself based on new information, experiences, and crucially, your thoughts. So when you keep thinking certain thoughts over and over, your brain literally reconfigures itself around those thoughts.
Wow. Okay, so if I keep telling myself I'm going to fail at something.
Exactly. Your brain is actually less likely to build the neural connections you need to succeed. It's actively making failure more likely in a way. And the second part is how your thoughts directly inspire your actions. It's pretty straightforward, really. If you truly believe you can do something, you're just far more likely to try, right? And
Absolutely.
therefore more likely to succeed.
Exactly.
But if you believe you'll fail, well, often you won't even bother starting. And that raises a really important question for everyone listening. How much potential are we just leaving untapped because of these, like, self-limiting thoughts?
The book gives some pretty powerful examples to illustrate this, doesn't it? Like someone battling cancer who truly believed they were bigger than the disease,
Hmm.
or someone who achieved huge business success partly because they believed they were kind of invincible.
Right. And it's not just about positive thinking in a passive, wishful way. It's about how that internal story, that narrative you tell yourself, literally directs your effort and even your brain's ability to adapt.
So our thoughts are like blueprints. That's a powerful metaphor.
Yeah.
But what happens when those blueprints are, well, flawed? The book calls these limiting beliefs.
Exactly. These are those really deep-seated thoughts that convince us, often without us even realizing it, of what we can and can't do.
Like saying I can't, or that's just too hard for me.
Yeah, or constantly fearing failure, avoiding risks, beating yourself up mentally.
Or that constant comparison trap, feeling like you're never good enough compared to others.
Hmm. If any of that sounds familiar, it's a pretty strong sign you've got some limiting beliefs running the show. Often they're like these unconscious mental barriers we've put up.
Okay, so
Mm.
if these thoughts are literally shaping our brains and our actions, how do we actually start to change them? How do we shift these deep patterns? Where does the book say to start?
Well, Think Straight offers several strategies. It's not just one thing. First, you gotta challenge your thoughts, actively question them. When a negative thought pops up, ask yourself, is there actually solid evidence for this? Or is it just an old story you keep repeating?
So like fact-checking your own brain.
Kind of, yeah. And often you find it's based on maybe one past failure or something someone else said, not reality now. Second, be kind to yourself. Really important. Instead of that harsh inner critic, talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend who's struggling. Supportive, understanding.
That's harder than it sounds sometimes.
It really is. Third, use positive affirmations. But the book stresses they need to be believable to you. Remind yourself of your actual capabilities, your past wins. Root them in truth.
Okay.
And finally, set small targets and achieve them. Tiny ones, even. This builds real self-confidence, step by step. Each little win makes it easier to tackle the next, slightly bigger thing. It proves those limiting beliefs wrong incrementally.
Right, building momentum. I like that. And this ties back into neuroplasticity, doesn't it? The idea that our brains aren't fixed. Think straight really digs into the science here.
It does. It emphasizes that your brain has this incredible capacity to change and adapt based on what you do and think throughout your entire life.
That's the really hopeful part, isn't it? You're not stuck.
Exactly. It means you can literally train your brain, learn new stuff, break old habits, even fundamentally change how you tend to think. And it's not just passive thinking, it's focused mental effort.
Okay, so how does that apply, like practically?
Well, think about learning new skills. A language, an instrument, whatever. Every time you practice, your brain is physically creating new connections, strengthening pathways, or changing your thoughts. Consciously replacing negative loops with positive ones. That can actually reduce physical tension, ease anxiety, build a more positive default outlook. You're retraining your brain's emotional responses.
And habits. Breaking bad ones, building good ones.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's
Yeah.
hard, no doubt. But every time you practice the new habit, you're literally forging new neural pathways, making the new behavior easier over time, and just generally challenging your mind. Puzzles, reading different things, exploring new places, it all keeps the brain sharp, boosts that neuroplasticity.
So if our thoughts are doing all this work, shaping our brains, driving actions, the book says the absolute first step is just becoming more aware.
Yes, self-awareness is key, constantly checking in. What am I thinking right now? How am I feeling?
But without judging it.
Exactly. That's the crucial part. Practice neutral observation. Just notice the thought or feeling. Don't immediately label it good or bad. Just see it.
Okay. How do you practice that?
Well, the book suggests things like mindful meditation, just sitting and observing thoughts come and go, or journaling, writing things down helps you see patterns. And also, consciously identifying and naming your emotions, like, okay, I'm feeling frustrated right now. Just naming it can give you some distance. The more aware you become, the better you understand your internal world, and the more power you have to actually change it, to challenge those negative patterns and replace them.
Got it. So awareness first. Then the book talks about two really powerful tools for actively changing things: thankfulness and visualization. Let's start with thankfulness. How does just being grateful actually change things?
Well, practicing thankfulness, consciously focusing on and appreciating the good stuff in your life can really shift your whole mindset. It trains your brain to look for the positive. The book suggests practical things like keeping a gratitude journal. Every day, write down a few things you're thankful for, even tiny things.
Like your morning coffee.
Totally. Or a nice interaction, or just being healthy. It rewires your focus. Also, just noticing moments of thankfulness during the day. A beautiful sunset, maybe, acknowledging it consciously. It boosts your mood right then and there. And importantly, thanking others. Actually telling people you appreciate them. It strengthens relationships and it reinforces your own positive feelings.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then visualization. This one can feel a bit more out there for some people. How does imagining something help you achieve it?
Visualization is presented as a really powerful tool in the book for, like, manifesting your goals. It works by basically priming your brain for success. First step, imagine your desired future in vivid detail. Close your eyes, see yourself having achieved the goal. What does it look like, feel like, what sounds are there? Engage all your senses.
Make it real in your mind.
Exactly. And then, crucially, connect with the emotions. Feel the joy, the pride, the satisfaction of having achieved it. Those positive emotions, they're the fuel. They motivate you.
Okay.
And finally, this isn't just daydreaming, it inspires action. Because your brain has sort of pre-experienced success, it gets better at spotting opportunities and guiding you. You use that vivid vision to set concrete goals and figure out the actual steps to get there.
Right. It bridges the gap between dream and reality.
Precisely.
So to actually make those visualized goals happen, the book emphasizes clear goal setting, dealing with obstacles, and staying motivated. It's the practical side.
Yes, absolutely. For clear goals, the book really pushes the SMART principle. You've probably heard of it. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It highlights the difference between a vague wish, like, I want to be fit, and a proper goal, like, I'll lose 5 kilos in 3 months by doing X, Y, and Z.
That clarity makes a huge difference.
It really does. And writing them down, putting them somewhere visible, that keeps them top of mind, keeps you focused.
But what about when things go wrong? Because they always do, right? Obstacles.
Yeah, the book says anticipate them. Try to identify potential challenges before they hit. It's not pessimism, it's preparation. Have a plan B, maybe even a plan C. Think about alternative routes. And resilience is key. Be flexible. Things rarely go exactly to plan, so be willing to adjust your approach, maybe even tweak the goal itself if needed.
And staying motivated through all that.
Celebrate the small wins. Acknowledge your progress, however small. Keep challenging those negative, I can't do this thoughts. Believe in yourself. And, surround yourself with supportive people. Build a community that lifts you up. That makes a massive difference.
That leads nicely into relationships, actually. Think
Mhm.
Straight talks a lot about cultivating strong connections.
Mm.
How does thinking straight apply to how we interact with others?
It's all connected. The book breaks it down. First, effective communication. Be clear, be honest about your feelings, but also be mindful and respectful of the other person. And active listening, really hearing them, not just waiting to talk.
Showing empathy, trying to see their side.
Exactly, without jumping to criticism. Using positive body language helps to eye contact, open posture. Then there's resolving conflict. Stay calm. Try to understand the real root of the issue, not just the surface argument. See it from both sides. Look for solutions together. Be willing to compromise. And don't underestimate the power of apologizing and forgiving. Seriously.
hmm And just generally promoting healthy relationships.
Be kind, be helpful, praise and appreciate people genuinely, spend quality time together doing things you both enjoy, and also commit to growing together, learning new things, inspiring each other. It keeps the connection dynamic.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting gears a bit, productivity and time management. The book has practical tips here too, right? Linked to mindset.
Definitely. A big one is prioritizing tasks. The book loves the ABCD method. You list your tasks, then label them. A is crucial, gotta do it now. B is important, but not urgent. C is less important, but still needs doing. D is, well, delegate or delete if possible.
So you focus on the A's first, always.
Yep. Tackle A's, then B's, then C's if time permits. Get rid of the D's. It forces clarity on what really matters. Another huge thing is eliminating distractions. External ones like phone notifications, social media, but also internal ones.
Like worries or just feeling lazy?
Exactly. So strategies like silencing your phone, maybe using app blockers, finding a quiet workspace, but also mindfulness to quiet the mental noise, sticking to your to-do list to stay focused.
And once you're focused, how do you work smarter, not just harder?
The book advocates single tasking. Multitasking is mostly a myth. You just end up doing several things poorly. Take short breaks to stay fresh. Use automation for repetitive stuff if you can. And it mentions Parkinson's law work expands to fill the time available.
Oh yeah, I know that one. If you have all day, it takes all day.
Right. So the trick is to give yourself less time. Set tighter deadlines. You'll often find you get it done faster. And finally, the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it. Right now. Don't let it pile up. Think how many emails or small chores fall into that category.
That's a good one. I should try that. Now, finance. Think Straight isn't a finance book, but you said it applies these principles to money too. How?
Yeah, it's about the mindset around money. It pushes for informed financial decisions, not emotional ones. That means setting clear, measurable goals, paying off X debt, saving Y amount for retirement, then researching options, investments, insurance, whatever, logically, not just going with your gut or what someone else says.
Avoiding impulse buys or panic selling.
Exactly. And for debt management, it's about awareness first. Track your debt, actively look for ways to lower interest rates or payments, create a concrete plan to pay it off, maybe extra payments, cutting costs, finding side income, and importantly, seeking help from advisors if you need it. No shame in that.
So how does this Think Straight approach help reach financial goals overall?
It really boils down to habits and perspective. Saving regularly, even tiny amounts, add up hugely over time thanks to compounding. Investing wisely based on research and your risk tolerance, not hype. Tracking expenses so you actually know where your money's going. Ultimately, it's about self-awareness of your money habits, taking responsibility for your choices, learning from mistakes, and having a long-term view. Stability over quick wins.
It all seems to come back to awareness and conscious choices.
Pretty much, yeah.
And finally, the book connects all this to overall health, physical, mental, emotional well-being.
Yes, it's a holistic view. For stress management, it says identify your specific stressors, then practice healthy coping techniques. Deep breathing, meditation, yoga, exercise. These aren't just relaxing, they train your brain to respond differently to stress. Improving sleep is also huge. A regular schedule, same bedtime, same wake-up time mostly. A calming bedtime routine. Dark, quiet, cool room. Limiting caffeine and alcohol, especially later in the day.
All the things we know we should do.
Right, but the book frames it as essential for clear thinking and well-being.
And general physical and mental health promotion.
Eating healthy, it fuels your brain as much as your body. Regular exercise, massive benefits for mood and stress. Staying socially connected, strong relationships are vital buffers. And learning to express emotions healthfully, not bottling them up. Finding constructive ways to deal with anger, sadness, frustration. It's all part of holistic health.
Wow. Okay, what a deep dive that was. Think Straight really does lay out a compelling argument for how much control we can have. Just by managing our thoughts, it impacts everything: time, money, relationships, health. It all seems to start with that internal narrative.
It really does. If you connect all the dots, the book's core message is that your mind isn't just along for the ride, it's the driver. It's shaping your entire experience of life. Which, leaves a pretty important question for you listening right now. What's just one small thought, one belief you hold, maybe even unconsciously, that if you decided right now to really challenge it, could potentially start to unlock a completely new possibility for you? Maybe even today.
Something to definitely think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Think Straight. We really hope these insights give you some inspiration to look at your own thoughts a bit differently.